Hey guys, tmanplays here with another Warno ranked game for you today, and we're going to be playing as the 11th Parachutist Division versus what I believe is still the strongest division in the game, 35th, or the VDV. So, right off the bat, we're starting with our two cards of Gazelle Celtics. This is basically in case he is helo rushing us so that all my infantry arrives here safely. Basically hoping to just kind of defend this area and defend this area, maybe manage to take the town, then kick him out of here. That's kind of why my main force is going this direction. Just a couple Milan twos going to different spots here on the right hand side. Some recon, Legionnaire Paras to keep him from just rushing anything across. Starting with two commands, which are both going to their respective zones, and then a VBL is going to try and sneak around this left-hand side. So he did run away with his helicopters. Unfortunately, though, ZU-23 truck's going to absolutely obliterate the first Gazelle Celtic there. Second one barely makes it out on 1 HP. We're trying to run away from there. Paras SAS now going to be dealing with these SPG 9 trucks. Just one Spetsnaz meta squad. You can see all the fire support basically hitting these guys. They're pretty much just done for. No real chance there. Thankfully, though, our opponent actually did not start with any commands, so that is going to add us up to a +8 as soon as we capture Delta. Puts us at a +10. Only 4 minutes to win, so that's a really good tick for us. Going to allow us to accumulate a fair bit of points. VBL Milan here, going to be opening up on this Igla, trying to find shots on these Skrezits and so forth. Milan 2 here does get one of the SPG-9s, but since he has infantry here, he's going to be able to spot this now. Probably should have held him back in this building. Would have been more useful there. Does take out one of the ZU trucks as well, but now the BMD-2 with the SPG-9 there, going to end up taking me out. So I see the helicopter. I'm just trying to play defensive with my infantry. I still have 3 of these alive, one heavily damaged though, so sending the 2 that have a little bit more HP. These have 60% accuracy, a little bit more than 60%, but we see we missed the first 2 shots. We get 1 hit there, and then we miss another 2 shots, and then we miss another 2 shots. So, you know, RNG not really on my side there. Thankfully, the little Celtic here that was on the ground actually manages to hit that MiG-29, which saves my Jaguar napalm. So we at least have that going for us, even though we didn't take out the helicopter. The napalm actually did hit a sidewinder on that, though, since we did connect with one of the Mistrals. So not all bad, but some really unfavorable RNG. Lots of infantry now. Lots of these BMD2s. I did bring around the Legionnaire Paras to maybe get a shot off on that, but our opponent, being smart enough, gonna back that away, and I'm just kind of losing all this over time. He did finally get a command up as well, so my victory points starting to fade. Playing really defensively over here. Don't really have a force that I can push out, but pretty much at this point, I'm like, well, yeah, the left kind of lost. Gonna maybe try and salvage it a bit. LGB calling that in to deal with this BMD2 because that's one of the big threats there. Unfortunately, though, had a MiG-29 ready, and well, that's pretty much just a waste for our LGB. Really shouldn't have done that. He's scouting ahead with this UAZ as well, so trying to run away with the supply. I fly up the Gazelles so that we don't lose those, and we see up here my VBL Milan flank actually ends up paying off very handsomely, as now we take out that command there. Allows me to get back up to my +7 tick, and I can just kind of call this guy out of the zone now, even though I have nothing defending there. So it works out perfectly. I don't need to keep that CB in the zone. So guys, though, going to deal with the SPG-9 UAZ there. Unfortunately, it didn't pull back these Gazelles quick enough, so they do. One of them goes down to the Skrezit. So guys, though, going to be able to finish that off. And well, we're just pulling back the command now because we have control of the zone, even though we have nothing in the zone. And the +7 tick, really, really nice. He basically focused all in on ground forces at the start. So I thought maybe if he didn't have Metis up here yet, I could kind of run these guys through. Maybe do some damage that way. But sure enough, a Metis comes out of the building there. Takes out one of my guys, so now we just need this guy as more of a defensive unit. I do get a napalm because I want to have momentum to get back in here. I know the Metis just fired from this building, so going to call that out with hopes of basically hitting and killing those Metis and anything in the surrounding area. So he's actually got a CV in this zone now. He's putting some pressure on this building here, so I got to be a little careful with my defense there now, because we definitely don't want to lose that objective. But we do take out a Metis and a Thessaloniki BMD squad that was sitting in this building. So that's nice for me. Recon helicopter, not a big threat for my chasseurs. Just going to try and get those guys in this little tree line, just so that we can maybe run the CV back in, stop him from getting this +2 until I can figure out what I want to do over here. MiG-29 going to gun run one of my chasseur paras. Just going to unload those and then run them into the trees. Also going to try and heal up these gazelles so that if that MiG-29 comes back, we can kind of team up on him with the Mirage 2000C as well. So flying out my plane, and well, I'm thinking, okay, this looks too easy. He's pulling back, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he's just baiting me. I need to pull back. Get tagged by an Igla there. Our plane has 30% ECM, and well, he misses with the first shot, has one more chance to hit me. And unfortunately, yeah, we lose our Mirage 2000C there. A bit unfortunate. Another big blow in our efforts. BMD2 here. Not really anything I can do about that with my infantry, as we're all out of range, and the autocannons and the medium machine guns can just really do wonders on me. Of course, my unit situated the wrong way. I smoked the right unit, but it's facing the wrong direction for some reason, even though I could clearly see that unit there. Ends up dying. Trying to get him with the other Sagai. Thankfully, that one misses. We're missing quite a few shots ourselves with our 52% accuracy. Thankfully, do find the kill. And well, I ordered some mortars up so I can kind of smoke my way back in. Turns out he actually has some infantry here. And well, there goes both my mortars. My recon infantry here not really going to be able to make it into the building because he just has all this fire support out in the open now. So call it another LGB plane. I'm going to try and deal with the Spetsnaz GRU. Do at least get a good drop there. Find the kill. But our Paras SAS already dead. MiG-29 going to try and pursue. Not going to be quick enough, though, to basically cause me any harm. And I did run my command back in here, just to hold this for as long as possible. I'm running up this Sagai to deal with the BMD2. As we see, we're going to get our shot off here. We miss, and then the autocannon just absolutely shreds my paper tank. Thankfully, he does get close enough to where my chasseur paras can deal with him. Keep this in the zone for just a little bit longer. Only one Celtic up now, as I believe a MiG-29 actually was able to pass by, hit the other one with a Sidewinder there. On the right side, haven't called out any reinforcements to here yet. Just basically trying to figure out how I want to deal with all these units in the open. And we see he's now putting a lot of pressure with all his infantry. Chasseur paras not going to be able to really stand up too much longer. Going to go ahead and just run this guy out the zone. Run the Celtic back to resupply from the VLRA. And now I'm just like, okay, well, left side's lost. Maybe we have a chance to get Delta. Really need to capture Delta because that's the only way I can stop the +2 tick. Don't really foresee a way back into Alpha for me. So instead of just sending more units over here to where we are massively disadvantaged, I'm going to decide to just reroute this infantry I called in to get over here, as I need to get to the other side of this objective as soon as possible, and preferably do something about these MiG-29s. I already called in my LGB, so I'm like, well, you know, it's too late. We just got to send them in. Thankfully, dodged some missiles there. Deal with the D-44. Not really the best target to go for. Really should have saved this for a tank. And, well, now these MiG-29s on my tail. Going to end up taking out my other LGB. Do have 2 Pamelas here. Do get one of the MiG-29s in return, but not really worthwhile, as I really needed to keep that LGB alive for the late game. So we've already lost both of them. We still have both our napalm planes, which I'm going to go ahead and use now to maybe find some momentum and killing this CV. Buy me some more time to figure out what I would need to do over here. Thankfully, BMD2 going to get taken out by one of the Milan 2s. Napalm going to come in. Does get kind of tagged with the Sidewinder there. Is able to destroy the command and his EU-23 though. And while the LGB going to attempt to chase us down here. Does actually have quite a few Sidewinders. Thankfully though, going to miss all 3 of those. Only hit with the first one. Pamela finds a connection there. Going to force him to evac. So he has an Mi-8 rocket. Celtic going to attempt to shoot this down. Gets 1 hit there. Finds the 2nd hit. Great job. Deal with that helicopter, and our infantry arrived just in time to be able to deal with this Desaniki. I'm trying to keep these Legionnaire pairs alive so that when I do get supply up here, I can heal them up and then use them to advance. I need to keep all my units alive because as we look at the map here, we don't really have a whole lot. Kind of went overkill with the Mistral pairs, but I'm like, well, I'm going to need air defense here if I have any chance of crossing this open ground. So might as well just invest all my Mistrals onto this side. So guys, going to be helping to deal with some of this infantry in the open. Can't quite save this Milan 2. Going to attempt to though by running him away. Trying to move the Sagais so that we can actually hit these Desaniki. And then making sure no infantry got through this side. So deal with the Metis. That's a good kill for us. Thankfully, these guys just out of range of my Sagais. See his bomber coming in. Is going to get tagged by 1 Pamela. Does destroy both my infantry squads, though. And well, now I need to move this command back in because he actually has a counter command. So, attempting to hit where I saw that Mi-9 helicopter. Going to go ahead and drop. Thankfully, we destroy the Mi-9, so that's going to allow me to take full control of this zone again when I move in my supply. And our Napalm Jaguar going to make it out alive. So that's ideal scenario for me. MiG-29, a little late to follow up. I just unloaded all these Mistrals here. I already have 2 Pamelas in the vicinity. Does decide to turn the right way, though. And, well, ATGM going to open up on my damaged Sagai here. Don't quite spot it in time. Does get taken out. Gonna try and hide these guys behind the building. And well, problem for me, that bomber kind of took out my infantry. So I need to run away with all these Mistrals now. Because we're gonna have issues when this Desaniki gets across. So I do have mortars up. But because my infantry died, I can't really smoke this and push across right now. He does get a little overconfident though with that MiG-29. Does pay for it as I allow my Mistrals to fire. Really need to keep them running away from this infantry though, so we're just gonna try and run away from those guys. On the left side, basically just putting in a Milan 2 into the trees here just to keep him from rushing down a bunch of units at me. Basically focusing all my efforts on this right-hand side because I desperately need to take this zone. So guy's going to be pulling back, trying to get out of the sight of these ATGMs. He is going to find another one, though. And while I'm like, maybe he doesn't have any AA because he's been buying a lot of offensive units here. Maybe we can surprise him with this. So going to try and land close to this T-64B. Just flying over his infantry, starting to fire these mortars at where his Desaniki were. Going to go ahead and land with the first one. Thankfully, just make it in time before the MiG-29 can get through. And while we have all this AA here, unfortunately only find 1 hit, even though we have 3 Mistrals and a Pamela. Cluster plane trying to come in for that T-64B. Unfortunately, though, can't really find the right angle to drop. He did circle around the MiG-29 again, so we do find that. Just chasing it away with the airmobile. As long as I keep vision on this Jaguar cluster can go in for another run. So just trying to keep him spotted. We know about where he is. See him again for one last time, just in time for the drop there. And well, that's a dead T-64B. Clutch moment right here. We have 5 shots left for the Sagai. Finds one hit. Fortunately, takes 2 hits to kill. Gonna be able to find another hit. And well, now this BMP gonna find the shot on target there. But Sagai gonna be able to hit him before that Milan can do any damage. We also spotted another command tank from our opponent. And now I know this side is clear. I know that he still has some infantry here, so I can't run across with that infantry just yet. But basically, foot on the gas. Now is our moment to get across to the other side of this objective and try and salvage this game. So our Legionnaire Paris just going to be moving across the open here. So guys, offering some fire support, trying to heal up some of the damaged infantry. Legionnaire Paris in the back on a hunt order. Trying to just find some lucky hits with an Apelus with that airmobile, but they were heavily stressed out. LGB gonna hit one of my Sagais. Is gonna get tagged by a Pamela. Mirage 2000 gets it. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't microing this too well. Show my rear, try and turn back, but the MiG-29's already got our tail, forced us to evac. And well, can pop flares all day long, but not gonna be able to do anything against the guns of the MiG-29 there. So we do lose our second Mirage 2000C. So guys also having a very hard time, not able to really hit this BMD2 effectively. Finally get the hit, but it takes 2 hits to kill, so need to smoke before that ATGM from the T64 gets us. This MiG-29 flies over all my AA here. Celtic gonna try and get a shot off all the Mistrals. Fortunately, only the Pamela able to hit there. But we do have our infantry across to the other side of the point. We have full control here, so we've stopped the bleed for quite a while now. Pretty healthy lead with about halfway through this game. Go ahead and get the VBL, try and finish that BMD2 off, but he does move back before that can connect. I see this command tank, so instantly gonna buy another Jaguar cluster to come in, trying to fly around some ASF. We see this bomber here, dodges the Celtic. Basically, missiles flying everywhere at this thing. Finally, get it with the Mirage. Pamela moving up, basically to deal with that helicopter, which it did get. And well, I need to pull this guy back. Move these Legionnaire Paras forward, which is now what I'm gonna do. Try and keep everything alive. Also, just gonna go ahead and try and get some more Mistral rounds for the Celtic here. Supply on the way for these Mistral Paras here. Also want to get this ATGM more resupplied. On the left side, I've just purchased an additional VBL Milan. Both napalms now coming in to strike where I think he probably has a bunch of stuff accumulated. So we see the infantry dropping off here. I know that's a good spot. Get the one hit there. This hit was supposed to go more back here. Unfortunately, I didn't change targeting in time, but the cluster is going to be able to finish off that T64 BVK. So pretty big kills there. This one, unfortunately, evacs the wrong direction. Does get tagged by Enigla, but will be able to make it out there. The other cluster makes it out, and the other napalm makes it out. So very successful strike. Now we have some time to kind of regroup over here. So supply going to be moving up to help the Pamela and the Legionnaire Paras kind of heal up. I have these 3 Sagais that I'm just kind of keeping behind the line, figuring out exactly how I want to use them. Getting more logistics for our AA net and our ATGMs over here. Trying to basically heal up all my units that were damaged. So then we can move those guys back up. Gonna go ahead and run across the Milan 2 to a better position. Got a VBL Milan. It's gonna ironically be going to the same spot where I already purchased one. Probably wasn't there when I first looked. And then just gonna buy a Mistral Para for this side, just in case he decides to scout with a helicopter. Also another VBL Milan that's just gonna kind of sit up here and protect the back of this zone to make sure nothing sneaking around here, in case, kind of act as an early warning system in case I need to defend Echo a little better. But we want to keep forcing him into an infantry fight here. because I'm feeling comfortable that my infantry can actually handle his units pretty well as long as we're in the back of this like forest area. I have plenty AA up at this point. I have a lot of Milan too. It's just kind of scattered around. Getting some Legionnaire Paras here so that I can try and get them into this side of the forest and then just basically drag out this fight for as long as possible. Kind of make a little fatal funnel here so that then we can just basically appeal us whatever he brings in from both sides and then use ATGMs to make this really hard for him to get back in. So running around the supply, trying to get everybody restocked. Gonna go ahead and run another Pamela over here in case a helicopter comes over the ridge. See his second bomber here. Gonna find good hits there with the Mistrals. So ASF not gonna be needed. Just gonna fly him, keep him around here anyways in case he decides to send any more helicopters after me. And well, so guys, heavily damaged from that. Thankfully they didn't die, but they are pretty stressed out. Have this VLRA, just gonna try and heal some of this. Not too worried about the MiG-29 flying in the back. I'm not gonna take the bait to go after that this time. Just gonna keep my fighters hovering around here. But just kind of running my AA around, make sure that in case he does send a bunch of helicopters at me, we're kind of prepared for that. So it's the guy here in a tough position, basically getting ATGM'd, but thankfully it's kind of hidden where you can't really see it, so we are able to sneak some shots against those BMD2s. Really unfortunate though that we can't one-shot these because of their 2 front armor. And then the infantry here doing a good job of spotting whatever's close to us. Do find the second shot there on that BMD2. You can see just how effective these BMD2s are at deleting infantry. As soon as that autocannon opens up, just deletes my Legionnaire Para squad there. And well, I saw the second VBL here, so gonna move the other one up, just because we don't need 2 stacked right on top of each other. Both of my Mirages just kind of flying in the back. See one of the helicopters come across the ridge there. Thankfully, I was ready. I had my Celtic, my Pamela, and my Mistral Paras all in good positions to be able to deal with that, so now he knows that's no longer an option. I do lose a logistics truck there to probably a meta squad. Need to keep sending infantry in over here. Also getting more ATGMs along the flank. See our Legionnaire Paras finally arrived. Going to be all unloading here because I don't want to unload right on top of the forest in case he has units kind of on the edge here. Another Milan 2, gonna try and get in this building just to basically deal with these BMD2s a little bit more effectively, like that one just did. And well, Metis gonna almost get me there, thankfully gets stunned right before that shot was probably about to connect. Legionnaire Para is now running to the edge of the tree line there. We see the Spetsnaz, so realize it's probably a good time to call in the Jaguar Napalm because it's possible he has quite a few infantry squads here. If he's leading with the Spetsnaz, and that'll just be a good unit to kill because it makes my life a lot easier holding with these Legionnaires and Airmobiles. So Jaguar Napalm coming in. I'm basically going to drop it a little bit behind the Spetsnaz in case he does have some units kind of shielding behind that. Going to get some good damage on the Spetsnaz as well, and well, now our basically full HP Legionnaire Paras can kind of finish those guys off. See some artillery from his side coming in on my positions on these tiny little trees. So gonna attempt to run those away. Looks like we found a connection there on a little UAZ. But we do escape from the artillery. More Sagais already on the way to help deal more fire support against all these units. We see the second T-64 BVK. Milan 2 gonna find a great hit on that. I know if I take this out, he doesn't have any more command tanks, so he'll have to use a fragile CV to get in this zone, which is exactly what I want. So really important that I take that out. All my Sagais gonna be coming in through the trees now to help deal damage to all this infantry. Let's see, one of them gonna hit that T-64. Unfortunately, though, autocannons very good against Sagais. But our Legionnaire Paras in good positions. They can't get bombed here because of this hill. So we're just going to gradually kind of move them across. Artillery is kind of hitting where my Milan 2 is, though. Sagai's not going to be able to really face off well against the T-64. Attempt to get another hit here. Do find another connection. I just need one more, and then that T-64 is toast. But I'm electing to get another Jaguar cluster just because I really want to finish that tank off. So we did buy this guy to finish him off, and well, if we look at the kill feed, T-64 BBK just got killed. So gonna evac that guy, save him for when I might need him again. Milan 2 trying to run away with these BMD2s. See, he's still got infantry here. Just kind of allowing my infantry to stay in this fight. Gonna move up the sky to maybe finish off that BMD. Legionnaire Paras slowly getting to the other side of the point. Good kill there on some more Spetsnaz that were coming in. And well, artillery gonna be able to destroy the building that those Chasseur Paras are in. Take a quick look at the left. He still hasn't bothered to push this side. So he's kind of fallen into the trap of just fighting me in a very infantry-heavy battle. It's not working out too well for him. I'm going to be able to push out my Sagais now because I know I have this covered by the Legionnaire Paras. So I can kind of run these guys to the other side, get better positions with them. Don't want my Legionnaire Paras to get shot by these BMD2s, though, so just going to pull him back. He does have some recon in the area, so no reason to overextend with those. Just take our time. Let him fight us in the deep forest. So there's only a little under 13 minutes left at this point, and I'm happy to continue this fight here. Still have a very healthy lead. All I need to do is hold this objective and defend the left-hand side, and I guess he realized he wasn't going to be able to get back in, so decides to surrender there. Our opponent, very good opponent, ranked in the top 30, 28 overall, 70. Basically a 77% victory ratio. Very skilled opponent there. And, well, we were able to take out the strongest division with one of the weaker divisions in the game. So that felt pretty good. Napalm Jaguars doing a really great job for us. As we can see, both of them had a pretty healthy list of kills there. LGBs really did not use those well. If we would have had those towards the later game as well. Could have got a lot more value out of our LGBs if we would have had AA up a little bit sooner. But overall, fun game. It's always a wild time with 11E. Basically, at one point, the game looked completely lost. Somehow managed to turn it all around. Really lost quite a few too many planes there in the beginning to his MiG-29s. Didn't really prepare for that adequately, but good game nonetheless. A victory, and well, we're keeping our spot at rank number 1, which is nice. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this game, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later, guys.